talk about what it's going to be like to re-enter school after a year of being out of school or in-person school. We'll also talk a little bit about what the virtual school will look like. I'm Miss Ivory, I'm the principal, and I'll introduce just a few people. Mr. Cahill is the school counselor, and Miss Burton is the assistant principal here at Chancey. We also have for you family members, we have Miss Lane, who is one of our ESL bilingual instructional assistants, and she will translate in the chat. So I'll try and speak slowly. If English is not your first language at home, I'll try and speak slowly or give communication or information to y'all very slowly so that she can translate that. Miss Lane, are you doing something other than Spanish also?
I'm just trying to do like the main facts, you know, whatever the main things that you said in other languages, but I'm going to try to keep up with you.
That's so fancy. I thought it was just Spanish and I saw some other characters going by and I thought,
I'm trying to do Arabic, Kawanya.
Yes.
Rwanda.
Yes. And hold on, let me see. And I think those are the two that I have right now because I think those are the kids that are logged in. Arabic and Rwanda.
Perfect. And so I will try to speak slowly so that Miss Lane can capture everything that's important that I'm saying and she can share that with you in your language. So welcome. We will talk for about 20-30 minutes, and then I think there's going to be about 15-20 minutes, maybe more time worth of questions that hopefully we can answer. I will also tell you that Miss Tracy, our front office clerk, and Miss Tina, the school secretary, will answer questions in the chat for you. They know everything about everything in terms of running the school. You're going to ask us, and hold on to those questions, but you're going to ask us about health records or bus information or carpool things. They will be answering most of those questions in the chat, but if it's something that is for the greater good for the entire group, we'll go over those as well, okay? So without further ado, Miss Burton, let's go.
All right.
All righty. I'll get started with arrival. Chancey, and this is a day in the life of a Chancey Cardinal. This is not like how it was when you all left school back in March. You all are big kids and you're my favorite. You know, we have to speak very sweet and soft to the little people, but you all can handle basically what's going on, okay? So when you get to school, if you're a bus rider, once you get off the bus, we'll put a bus tag on you, but we'll also do, for COVID purposes, we'll screen you, which means we will take your temperature. If it's over 100.4, we will have you step aside to cool off. Sometimes parents and family members, if they've been on the bus or in a closed area, the temperatures can be higher than what they should be. So we'll have them step aside for a moment and then take their temperature again. Before we send them home or give you a call, we'll double check that temperature. We'll also give them some hand sanitizer because they've just been on a bus. Now the buses will be disinfected. We spoke with bus drivers this morning and they will clean off the buses. They have a protocol they have to follow, but we'll also give you all some hand sanitizer. And then we'll double check your PPE before entering the building. That's your personal protective equipment. And so it really means just your mask. If you don't have a mask on or the mask is improperly on your face, we'll help you correct that and put it on properly or give you a mask if you don't have one. We'll also make sure that you are social distance while you're getting off the bus and going into the building. The next slide, you'll go straight to your classrooms, but actually, once you enter the building, there will be 2 kiosks. Have you all ever been to the mall and you see like stuff set up in the hallways of the mall? Not really the inside the mall like the stores, but in the hallways of the mall, they have kiosks that are set up. We will set up kiosks that will have all of your breakfast food. So it will be a grab and go breakfast. You won't even have to go into the cafeteria when you're back at school. You'll just go into that kiosk area or into the hallway, grab some breakfast from the kiosk, sanitize your hands if necessary, and then you'll go straight upstairs or you guys are big kids, you'll go straight upstairs to your classrooms and eat your breakfast in your classrooms. Your teachers will greet you at the doors. There will be staff members that are positioned throughout the building to make sure that you're maintaining that social distance and make sure that you're also keeping that mask on and the protective equipment on as well. If you're a car rider, we'll do something very similar, except you're in the car. So someone will be driving you up to the gym doors. There will be a staff member outside of the gym that will take your temperature. If it's over 100.4 because you're in the car, sometimes it gets warm in the cars, we will have you pull up so that you can have your temperature go down, and we'll tell you to like roll your windows down and things so that you can just cool off some. And so we'll retake your temperature, and if it remains where it's supposed to be, which is under 100.4, we'll have you hop out of the car. You'll grab your breakfast somewhere right outside the gym doors, and you will go to your classroom just like bus riders and anyone else. Again, we'll have people stationed throughout the building strategically to make sure that you all are socially distant and that you are still wearing your PPE. If you need to use hand sanitizer at that point as well, you will do that. Arrival for late arrivals and walkers. If you are getting to school late, you will do the same thing essentially. We will just make sure that you get the breakfast. So whatever time you get to school, you will still make sure that we screen you before you go to your classrooms, check your PPE or your mask, and give you some hand sanitizer before you even enter the building. Now, parents and family members, you're going to ask me, what time do we accept students? That begins at 8:30. Our first bus will arrive around 8:30. And if you're a car rider or a walker, you can come into the building at 8:30. That's when we have staff members available to supervise, and that's when we begin accepting children. So for breakfast, and I mentioned this, it's the grab and go style. Kiosks are located in the hallway. All breakfasts are free, and I didn't mention that last night, but all breakfast is free at Chansey, breakfast and lunch both. One parent asked last night, can they bring their own? Absolutely. If you have a picky eater at home, feel free to pack a lunch or a breakfast. All areas will be sanitized and cleaned after use, so our custodial staff will be throughout the building, and they will make sure that if anything has spilled or trash needs to be dispensed or thrown away, they will be around to make sure that that happens and that things are cleaned up after breakfast every day. Unfortunately, at this point, family members, visitors are not allowed inside the building. I know many of you are accustomed to coming into the building, especially on the first day of school, but due to COVID, we are not allowed to have anyone enter the building. JCPS has considered all buildings closed. And so unless you're in the building for some essential work, mostly if there's an ARC meeting or something, we are not allowed to have any parents or anyone else enter the building. Did I forget anything about arrival or breakfast, Mr. Cahill or Ms. Burton?
I don't think so.
You covered it, right? Ms. Burton, take it away.
All right, so classrooms, you're probably wondering what that will look like. And I will tell you, just like I told our families last night, our teachers have been working overtime to make sure that our classrooms are ready and prepared and set up so that students are safe and but in a welcoming, exciting, happy environment. So your child's teaching assignment has been made already. If some of you were, if some of your teachers have changed, those teachers have reached out to you. They should have done that by today, or at least by today. Today's Thursday. I think today's Wednesday. They should have reached out to you today just to introduce themselves and let you know who they are and that they will be your child's teacher if there happen to be some changes with that. Many of our students were able to stay with their original homeroom teachers. So all classrooms have had all optional furniture removed. Rugs have been removed just so that we can ensure that social distancing can take place and effective cleaning can take place. Tables have been replaced with desks, so every student will have a desk where they can kind of have their own individualized space, and those desks are arranged to accommodate the 6 feet or greater distance. And then seating charts will be used all across our school environment just to help with contact tracing, so teachers will make sure that they keep up with that. All students are facing the front of the room just so that there's no, it eliminates students being too close to one another or wanting to, touch one another or anything like that. So they'll all be facing the front of the building. Transitions will be limited just because we're trying to prevent hallway congestion. So they will stay in their rooms, probably more than what they're used to in a regular school year. The classroom teacher will have plenty of cleaning supplies. Bookkeeper has done an amazing job of ordering tons and tons of PPE. Every classroom has what we are calling a PPE kit, and it contains hand sanitizer, gloves, extra masks, things that we know they may need throughout the day. And then each classroom will be cleaned by our custodial staff throughout the day, and restroom breaks will be scheduled throughout the day. So that's it for classrooms. Did I forget anything there?
I don't think so. Ms. Burton, I will also add that we do have our custodial staff. I don't know, family members, if you watch the board meetings, but there was a lot of conversation about whether or not we would have enough custodians in the building. We do have custodial staff that will be in the building from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. And so they will be accessible or available to make sure that all of the cleaning that needs to happen can take place. So there are no problems with the classrooms being cleaned. I think that's it, Ms. Burton.
Okay. Lunch. So the students are eating breakfast in their classrooms, but lunch will be eaten in the cafeteria. We have a supervision schedule, so we have plenty of staff members that will help monitor the cafeteria while students are in there. And then students will be socially distanced in that cafeteria. We are attempting to do 2 seats between every student. So that's what we'll be doing inside the cafeteria. Students will, or staff will walk our students to and from the cafeteria just to ensure social distancing is taking place. The students will sanitize and wash their hands before they eat lunch and then after they eat lunch. Students will be taught that they can only remove their masks when they're eating and they're drinking. I know a lot of teachers are having those kind of conversations right now with students, just preparing them for our return to school, but just teaching them the proper way to do that and letting them know, and then also know that additional PPE will be provided. So if someone gets soiled or falls to the floor or something like that, we can give them another one. There will be a break between classes, and that will help. Our schedule's pretty tight, but we've been able to fit in some break time so that custodians can properly sanitize the tables and chairs as outlined in JCPS guidelines in between classes. And then of course we have decals on the floor and seats marked so that students know where they need to be and they'll know how to be spaced apart from their classmates.
Keisha, we also, and everybody, we're going to have the students all facing the same way too in the cafeteria. So they'll sit on one side of the lunchroom table, and we're brought in extra tables. So there's overflow tables to accommodate the social distancing in the cafeteria.
And Ms. Ivory, I think, has already said this, but students can bring their lunches and eat that in the cafeteria as well if they don't want to eat the cafeteria food. All right, common areas, the playground. So we've created a schedule that we will use to help with spacing for our playground, and we're just trying to eliminate large groups. So we have our classrooms going on a rotating basis, and they'll be able to play or have recess in 3 different zones around our building. Obviously, the playground will be an area that they'll get to go to. The Chansey Lake will be an area, and then the blacktop. And they'll stay with their classes in those zones, and they'll rotate, every other day or something like that. The grade level teams will come up with that, but this will just help to ensure that we don't have lots of different grades out there on the playground or at Chansey Lake all at one time. So we do have a recess schedule set up, and then hand sanitizer that will be used before students enter the playground, and then upon entry, re-entry into the building, they will use hand sanitizer or wash their hands. Our office, unfortunately, and Ms. Ivory, I think, has talked about this, no visitors will be allowed in our building. If you do need to pick up your student early or drop off things, we ask that you call the school or go up to the front office and push the intercom, and we'll come out and have you sign out that way. And then also parents, I know that sometimes students forget things or they need stuff. We're asking that you try really, really hard not to have to bring items back and forth from home, or, if they've forgotten something, having to bring that to them. They're only here 2 days out of the week. So we'll just encourage you to try to eliminate that. And then try not to have to sign out early. Try to schedule those doctor's appointments when we have breaks, or just times when they're not in the building. That'll just help make the transition a lot smoother. And then, of course, hallways. We have floor decals and signage all throughout our building, inside our classrooms. So students, I think, will have a really clear understanding of how far they're supposed to be spaced apart, reminders to wear their masks, things like that. When possible, our doors will be designated for one-way entry and exit. And again, signage is everywhere. Our high-touch areas throughout the building, stairwell, rails, doorknobs, things like that will be sanitized frequently throughout the day as well. And we'll really be able to do that now that we have our 4 custodians in the building together. Oh, that was it. Or did I forget something?
I don't think so. Ms. Burton, there were a couple of questions in the chat that I think we've answered.
Oh, okay.
One question was, can they bring water bottles to school? Absolutely, but we'll get to this a little bit later. Chancey will provide water bottles. It will be the week of March 22nd, though. They're not in yet, but we have purchased Chancey Elementary water bottles. If you want to bring something to school for the first couple of days, that's by all means, feel free to do so. But we do have some water bottles purchased for kids if they don't have one. I think a couple other questions was, and you have to put on my glasses. Hold on, let's see. Sorry about that. Do they have to wear their masks outside? Yes, unfortunately, they have to wear masks at all times. I will tell you that teachers are already thinking of ways that they can socially distance, like get really far away from each other if they're outside, and give themselves a mask break. I personally struggle with wearing a mask. I'm trying to build up to that because it is not easy for me, but I will be honest with you, if you wear the appropriate mask, it does help. And so sometimes that means that you wear the masks that are the not the cloth ones. This one is cloth, and I can't breathe. I'm a little asthmatic, and so it just makes me a little nervous when I can't breathe because I already have trouble breathing. So I try not to wear this mask. I try to wear some other ones just so that I don't get so irritated with the mask touching my face or not being able to breathe. Mr. Cahill, are you doing dismissal? And we'll go back to some questions after you get through your part.
Yes, and there was a question about what to bring, and that's coming up. So dismissal is going to be sort of like everything else, highly structured. Students will be called by bus to dismiss, so they will wait in their class. So they're going to wait in their classroom. Thank you, Davion. Until their buses are called. For example, we'll say orange bus, and everybody on orange bus will then leave their classroom to walk down the hall, and they'll be monitored along the way to get on their bus. Students will sit in their assigned seat on the bus. There'll be assigned seats to help with contact tracing, so they'll know their seats, and they'll go to those seats probably to and from school. And then masks are also required when on the bus. And then car riders and walkers. So students will sit in the gym, again, according to their car rider number. We're going to place them strategically throughout the gym to ensure social distancing and also help with that contact tracing so we know who's by who and where they're at. Students will also wait in their area, just like always, until that number is called. We have a pretty organized carpool. We're just adding a level of seating charts and social distancing to the gym. All students will be seated facing that same direction. That's per the CDC guidelines to keep everybody, kind of breathing the same way. And they'll again be spaced apart. And we'll have appropriate staff in the carpool supervising, like always. And then again, masks are pretty much required throughout the whole day. And then walkers are going to go out the normal way through that walker door, and we'll space them out if they have to wait, but they'll leave the way they normally did on that far end of the building by the preschool playground. So there's a difference now between a sick room and isolation room for if you're showing COVID-like symptoms in the school building, where you'll be able to wait to get picked up And then there's the health room. So school is already used to, if you took medication at school or had breathing treatments or had kind of day-to-day medical needs at the school, we still have that health room, and that's in the office. And trained personnel are going to still do those duties, but those non-COVID related medical procedures will happen in the office. But then there is an isolation room that we have in a whole classroom where there's plenty of space for, if you're showing symptoms of COVID, primarily that over 100.4 degree temperature, you're going to be waiting in the sick room for somebody to come pick you up. And again, that will be monitored by staff, and you'll be appropriately spaced out and be wearing your mask while you wait to get picked up. I think, down at the bottom, it says, there are reasonable accommodations for 504s and IEPs. All of that still has to be followed in accordance with the plan and the federal regulation.
Mr. Cahill, I'm so sorry.
No, I was just going to, go to the next slide. So again, the sick room, if you're showing that temperature, which is a very concrete symptom of 100.4, that is an indication that, you may have to go to the sick room. We will always do a temperature double check just to make sure. Give it about 10 minutes, retake that temperature just to be sure, because like we've said earlier, you could be warm, you could be hot, maybe you were running around or being active. So if you needed to remove a hat or a toboggan or something like that, obviously taking into consideration any cultural or religious beliefs before making that request, we will always perform a double check, temperature check before we make that determination. But a temperature of 100.4 is indication of needing to go home. And then if you do go home sick, the recommendation is made to just follow up with your healthcare provider, but you may opt not to do that. And then in that case, you can return after symptoms are improving, and if the child is fever-free for 24 hours without taking fever-reducing medication. That's been the previous policy that we've always followed. So just in the event that it is determined the child has COVID-19, we have a procedure. We will communicate that to the building principal, who is responsible for notifying the health department and following that procedure and the protocols if we get notification of a positive result. The plant operator and the custodial staff, will do a clean and disinfect the sick room as needed and at specific times throughout the day. So we have schedules to ensure everything's getting cleaned.
And I know we've talked, I'm sorry, Mr. K, I'm going to jump in real quick. I know we've talked a lot about masks and how they're going to be wearing them all day. Students can bring their own masks from home. I know that was a question that came up. They can bring their own masks, and if something happens to it or they lose it, we have plenty to replace or give them another one. So that was a question that popped up. All right.
So virtual learning. Family members, virtual learning will be the same as it has been since March 13th. We will continue to have offer the gifted and talented, ECE, provide ECE services, advanced placement, and ESL supports will be available. Chancey teachers will continue teaching virtually. We have had to make a couple of changes, but for the most part, at your grade level, one of the only change we made at the third grade level is we added Miss Chambers as one of the virtual teachers. She'll be reaching out to you all. Fourth grade virtual teacher is Miss Ballard, and then the fifth grade virtual teachers are Miss Malone and Miss Miller. So not much has changed, but some of you that are in person may or you may have a different teacher, but it's still someone you should be familiar with. Mr. Stahl and Miss Lotz are still teaching at Chancey. Miss Beatty, Miss Hummel, Miss Brock will still be in person, and then all of the third grade teachers will be in person as well. For virtual learning, there will still be live instruction. Food services will continue to provide food for families who have chosen the virtual option. Miss Case hopped on yesterday and corrected me. I believe it won't be at Chancey. It will be somewhere else on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Oh, there you are, Gay.
Right, yeah, the last day for pickup at Chancey is Tuesday the 16th. On the 24th, you can pick up at middle and high schools. And then starting on April the 10th, which is the Friday after spring break, they'll be available at different schools in the area, not Chansey. I think Norton Commons is the closest to us, but in the parent newsletter this coming Monday, I'll make sure to post where you can access that information.
Thank you, Ms. Case. Students, if you are virtual, you will still need to have your devices, and then if you a hotspot, if you don't have one, we will continue to supply you with a device, a Chromebook if you need it, and we will continue to provide hotspots as we have them. Sometimes I will tell you, though, boys and girls, we're running out of things, and so make sure you take care of it, but we will support you if you're a virtual student. It says students who chose the virtual learning option are recommended to remain in it through the conclusion of the semester. So once you have decided to be a virtual student, we ask that you stay virtual. If nothing else, know that you can't just wake up one day and say, hey, I want to see my friends, I'm showing up to school tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. There is a protocol you must follow, and we're just not making changes easily or quickly, just kind of when we feel like it.
All right, and so you already talking. I've seen several questions about Chromebooks. So our kindergarten through third grade students, they will not need a Chromebook. You will not need to bring one to school. Keep it at home. You will use it on the days that you are working at home virtually. Our fourth and fifth grade students, however, will need to bring their Chromebooks. So fourth and fifth graders, you will be bringing your Chromebooks back and forth. Now, if you have a Chansey computer, obviously you will bring that back and forth, and that's fine. If you have a personal computer at home, you can bring that. If you feel, if your parents feel comfortable with you doing that, you can bring that. But if not, every teacher has a few extra Chromebooks in their classroom that they will be able to lend to those students who don't have one or can't bring their personal ones in. So yeah, fourth and fifth grade students, you will bring your Chromebooks to school and keep it protected. Some teachers thought you could wrap it in a towel. That's a good way to keep it protected. Or if you have a case for it, like a little Chromebook bag or something, keep it in that. And just, you're gonna have to be really responsible because you're traveling back and forth with that now, but we know you can do it. So fourth and fifth graders, you will bring your Chromebooks. Kindergarten through third, you will not. And okay, those families who are gonna be virtual, if you are having any issues with your Chromebooks or it's not working correctly, even with the hotspots, you can still reach out to us and we will still support you in that way. The district is also going to be supporting any kind of technology or IT needs throughout this process as well. Were you going to say something, Mr. Cahill?
Ms. Lane, did you need to say something real quick, or was it already answered?
It was already answered. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
So school supplies. Oh, I thought this was.
Did I do that to you last time? I don't know.
So school supplies, and Anthony, good question. I saw you just asked a minute ago. So what you will bring to school is a backpack. Again, if you're putting your Chromebook in that, just know that you've got a computer in your backpack. So yes, bring a backpack. Also, bus riders, really every student, we always identify students' transportation, how they get home, where they live, on their backpack. That is a measure that we've always had. So your backpack is very important for the rest of the school year. So yes, bring a backpack. We're going to tag it like we always do. Keep that tag on the backpack. If you change backpacks, try to change that tag if you can. So Chromebooks, again, only for fourth and fifth, but then every other supply, we're going to provide all your paper, pencils, crayons, anything for the school day, we've got it here for you. We're going to provide every student with a water bottle, but if you have your own water bottle and you want to bring that, that's okay. But we are going to give every student a water bottle. We've even installed new water fountains that will fill up a water bottle. We no longer have to bend down to take a drink of water out of the water fountain. This is much cleaner, and it prevents the spread of germs. So we have new water bottle, water fountains. So you don't need to bring anything to school for the rest of the year except for your backpack and your Chromebooks for fourth and fifth graders.
It's kind of gross, isn't it, Miss Beatty? Think about all the times we grew up drinking out of water fountains, family members. We're not doing that anymore. They're going to use the water bottle dispenser.
Yeah.
Now, this next slide is pretty important, so I want you all to listen very carefully. And I will try not to say this incorrectly either. I'm going to read it directly because it is very confusing, even for the people that work for JCPS, I'll be honest with you. On Wednesday, March 17th, kindergarten through second grade students in Group A, that means you have a last name starting with A through K, you will be in person school. Kindergarten through second grade students receiving ECE special education services, you will also be in person school. Raise your hand if your last name is A through K and you're in person. See some hands raising. You all are people have trained you well. I love how you all have actually raised your hands. Nice job. Now, Thursday, March 18th. Cahill, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say for this group, they will not be starting on Wednesday.
That's right.
The A through K group is starting next Monday.
Yeah.
Thank you. I thought Mr. Stahl was going to be the one to remind me. Thank you, Mr. Cahill, because I think I did that incorrectly before. Thank you all for helping me out. So this group, you all are 3rd through 5th, so this does not apply to you. You will not start school on Wednesday, March 17th. All right, take a deep breath. Now, kindergarten through 5th grade students with the last name L through Z, you will begin school on March 18th. And elementary students receiving special education services. So if you have the last name of L through Z, now raise your hand because you're actually going to school on March 18th and March 19th, right, Cahill?
Right. So Anthony, that's you. I don't see your hand up and you're on my screen, so I'm sorry. Awesome.
No. All right. So everyone understands that. Now, on Monday, March 22nd, and Tuesday, March 23rd, kindergarten through 5th grade students in Group A, last names A through K, elementary students receiving special education services, and early childhood, which does not apply to us. You all will be in school on Monday, March 22nd, and Tuesday, March 23rd. It's a little confusing, but Mr. Cahill reminded people or shared with people that you should have gotten a postcard from JCPS this week. And so that will help you understand this as well, or at least remind you of this very specific and a little bit tricky schedule. Then on Wednesday, March 24th, is a virtual day for all students. So boys and girls, family members, no one will be in person school on Wednesday, March 24th. And then on Thursday, March 25th and 26th, kindergarten through 5th grade students, Group B, last names with L through Z, elementary students receiving special education services. And again, I don't need to mention early childhood. You all will be in school. Now, if you are a virtual person, you will remain virtual throughout that entire time. That does not change. Next slide, Ms. Burton.
All right.
Thank
All
you.
right. This was from the district, and I just thought it was some really helpful tips for our families as we start to wrap our minds around the fact that this is happening next week, in fact. So I just wanted to share this, parents, with you so that you can kind of help get your child ready and prepared for this transition. One of the tips that they share is to reestablish routines, set those bedtimes and wake up times so that your student can make sure that they have enough stamina and that they can make it through the entire day. I know for even my own students, I'm having to make sure that they go to bed on time and get up and have a good breakfast so that they can make it through the entire school day because they're used to so many breaks. Normalize mask wearing, and that's something that you probably have already been doing because you go out into public, and so you're wearing masks on the regular. We've been doing it for a year now. But try to help them learn how to do that or practice doing that for longer periods of time. So walk around the house for an hour or two wearing your mask. boys and girls, just to start getting used to that. And adults too, because I struggle still too myself. Keep communication open. Just talk to your child and just try to understand how they're feeling about this big return to school. Talk about, if they're nervous about anything or worried or excited about what's to come. And then just help your child cope in that way. Let them know that they can talk to a trusted adult. I know Mr. Cahill is always here to support students who might just need someone to talk to. Our mental health practitioners here. We are all here. Your child's teacher is there just to help them if they need some support with this big transition. And then if you need any help or you're worried about anything, reach out to us.
Thank you. Now there is a quick video, but before we even watch the video, it is 6:38, and at this time we can either open it up to questions. I would like to do this in as much of an orderly fashion as I can. I will tell you, the little people, kindergarten through second graders, had far more questions. So family members, hopefully if you have questions, put them in the chat. We will attempt to answer them. If you want to raise a hand, we can call on you.
If you feel comfortable.
I don't see any. I feel like they've all.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you feel comfortable and want to unmute and ask a question, that's fine too. Miss Lane, can you help us as well to make sure we're not missing any questions?
Yes.
It's just Miss Beatty talking to your kids.
Yeah, I've been trying to answer questions as they fly by, but.
I think that's it. I don't see any other ones.
Chen Migao needs.
Now I will tell you.
Best number.
Yeah, she's right. She's asking a question about her bus.
Oh.
Miss Tina is on here and she's responding to you.
2061. Mm-hmm.
All righty. Burton, you want to play the video?
If a student is a
Oh,
Mr. Crafty.
Do we have to turn our cameras off?
if I will.
I think his internet is.
I think he was asking if they need carpool numbers. Maybe not. Is that what your question? Is that your question, Mr. Crafty? Do you have a carpool question? Okay. If you can put that in the chat, if you have a question. We're not hearing you, Mr. Crafty.
That's James's dad. I'll give him a call myself right after the meeting.
Okay, I thought so.
Oh,
all right. Miss Burton, you want to play your video?
I think Carrot's done came.
Hey, Kidsy families. We are so excited to. It may be helpful if I know someone asked should they turn their cameras off. That might help a little bit.
Yeah, I asked that. I was like, do you have to turn the camera because it might glitch?
Welcome our Chancy Cardinals back into the building. Trust me, we have missed having their joyful energy all throughout our building. This video will hopefully give you a little peek at some of the health and safety precautions that we have put in place in preparation for our upcoming return to school. As the district would say, this is our new way forward. So let's start with arrival. As students exit the bus, they will be greeted by one of our fantastic staff members, and they will be asked to stand on the designated markings that are placed on the ground. We will ask students to wait there patiently until it is their turn to be screened. As you can see, this student's temperature is higher than 100.4. When this happens, a staff member will monitor that student and retake their temperature after about 10 minutes.
good morning. Can you put that mask up and over the top of your nose?
Yes.
Fantastic. Oh, you're wonderful. Head on in.
Good morning, Miss Gilbert. Masks are mandatory for anyone who enters the building. So upon arrival, if a student does not have one will be given to them by a staff member.
Sorry, I'm just so excited. Oh, I know. Well, welcome. Good morning. Thank you. Have a great. Good morning. Welcome back. We're going to ask you to lower your window. Hi, Miss Keller. Hi, how are you? I'm good. Oh, my goodness. You're fantastic. All right, tell Mom goodbye. Gather your and let's head inside. All right, sweetie, you're going to walk in here. You're going to grab your breakfast if you need one, and you're going to head straight to class. Good morning. How are you?
If we notice that your child's temperature is higher than 100.4, this will be the protocol.
Oh, sweetie, your temperature is reading above 100.4. So we're going to, I know, Mama. So what we'll do is we're going to ask if you just pull forward, and we're going to wait about 10 minutes, and then we'll come and check it again. You might want to turn your car off and see if you can roll the windows down just a little bit to see if that'll kind of lower that temperature. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Good morning, Chancy Carlos. Thank you.
Our students will be offered a grab-and-go breakfast as they enter the building, and they will eat that breakfast in their classrooms.
Fantastic. Take your breakfast and head on down to your classroom.
Our cardinal rules are posted all throughout the common areas of our building, and they just help remind students of our daily behavior expectations.
Good morning, friends.
Our teachers have worked hard to prepare their classrooms for our students' return. In order to ensure social distancing, all non-essential furniture has been removed, signs and markings have been placed on the floor and around the classroom, and student desks have been spaced apart to the greatest extent possible.
Do you see how I have my mask on? Can you put your mask just like this over your nose? Keep us all safe.
A little mask reminder is always
So
helpful.
go ahead and tell me, what are some of our expectations?
The Chancey Cardinal rules are be safe, be responsible, and be respectful.
It's important to note that all classrooms will have plenty of personal protective equipment, otherwise known as PPE. Each room will have a PPE kit full of wipes, hand sanitizer, gloves, extra masks, and other items that help support the health needs of our students and staff.
Make sure when I call you, and remember, I'm going to call you one at a time, and stand on the first dot or the first X, okay? Miss Burton, would you please line up for me?
I'm so hungry, Miss Clark. I can't wait to eat lunch.
Yay, I'm hungry too. Excellent, Miss Burton. When we go out into the hall, boys and girls, we are either gonna walk on the Chancey Cardinals, or we're gonna walk on the C with the Chancey Cardinals. Remember to stay on your spot, and remember, it is walking feet, voices on what, friends?
Zero. Students will follow the floor stickers that are spaced 6 feet apart while traveling throughout the building. Social distancing will be enforced in all areas of our school. All of our restrooms are set up so that students are able to be spaced apart. Only a couple of students will be allowed in at a time. Restrooms will be stocked with supplies and sanitized regularly in order to ensure students' health and safety. All of our cafeteria tables and seats are numbered. The seats marked with a red X will remain empty. This will help to ensure social distancing while students are eating. Teachers will assign students to a table and a seat. Students will be expected to sit at their assigned table and seat every day. This system will help us with contact tracing should a COVID case arise. All classes will follow the recess schedule that has been created so that we can limit the number of classes on the playground at one time.
And we are now ready for Orange Bus Riders. Orange Bus Riders, please use your Chancey Cardinal walking feet, one behind the other. You are dismissed.
When it's time for dismissal, car riders will be called down to the gym by grade level. Walkers will exit the side of the building, and bus riders will stay in their rooms until their bus is called. Hopefully, this video will give you a better understanding of the preparations we have made to ensure the health and safety of our students and staff. We are committed to making this transition as smooth as possible. We can't wait to welcome some of our Cardinals back into the building. See you soon.
All righty. Thanks, Ms. Burton, for sharing that video. It was very well done. Are there any other questions? And I can't tell. Cahill, are you looking at the chat?
Yeah, and I wanted to say, I noticed Mr. Crafty, you got back in. Do you still want to ask your question again?
I think Mr. Stahl may have been able to assist him.
Okay.
I think. There are other hands up. Kenya, do you have a question?
Will we be able to have lunch bunch?
Great question. Yes, honey, I think you'll be able to have lunch bunch. We will make sure that rooms are sanitized. Beatty, yes, ma'am, you can. You can. You will be able to eat your lunches in your classrooms as long as the teacher agrees. For some of the family members, we do have a drive-through planned on Tuesday, March 16th, if you need a carpool number. Also, if you have to turn in any medicine or get any medical forms so that you can have those sent back to us, hopefully before the first day of school. Trying to see if there's anyone else with a hand raised. No?
I'm not seeing.
Did you say carpool March 16th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
From 10 to 1, Miss Lane. Yes, from 10 to 1. Eli, did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused where do you go if you're a walker?
Good question. You're going to go where you normally go. You'll go in through the walker door.
Okay.
I think, right, Cahill?
Yes, to go home, you'll go out that door by kindergarten, and to come into the building, you'll walk into the building and get a temperature check before you come in.
So you just walk down the stairs and then you go to that door.
Sure.
Good question. Joshua, you have a question?
This is Joshua's grandmother.
Hello, how are you, Miss Vaughn?
Excellent. It's Brazil.
Brazil, thank you. Very nice to speak with you. What's your question?
Well, I heard you say about the carpool, and it's 10 to 1. However, is there any other time, because I work and don't get off until 2:30? Do you have another time to pick up for the car riders? Because he's on the bus in the morning, but I pick him up in the evening. So
okay. On the first day of school, we're going to make some arrangements to make sure that you get your carpool tag that day if need be. We may just have you pull up, check your ID, and then give you the carpool tag then. Miss Tracy, do you want to answer that? Or do you have anything further to say? Is she not there? Oh, she's coming. I hear her in the hallway. What? Yes? No, she just said she can't make it to the drive-through from 10 to 1. Can she come? I said she could come the first day of school and pick it up that afternoon.
We'll have it in her child's backpack when she picks him up at Carpool.
Okay, we'll have Miss and I forgot your last name that fast. Brazil, thank you. We will have the carpool tag in your child's backpack when you pick him up that day.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. I knew we were working on something. Sorry, it's a lot going on. Kirsten?
Yeah, I have a question. So sometimes can you ride your bike up to the school or no?
Yeah, you can ride your bike and then you have to find a place to put it, like in that bike lock or bike rack place, and then you'll just go in through the front with the bus riders, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All
you
right.
would be considered a walker.
Some days can we ride the bus?
Listen, friend, You're going to choose, your parent, your mom is going to choose one mode of transportation. We're not going to change this based on the weather, okay? Mom can write a note. She's going to let us know what you're doing. Got it?
Okay.
Love you. Known you a long time. Anyone else?
Jimmy Gal had raised a hand.
Okay. She's asking her bus number again, but I believe Miss Tina put that in the chat. Was it 2160? No.
2061.
2061.
Did you get that, Jimmy Gal?
As kids are being transferred from Stouffer to Chansey. I don't know if they're asking that, but yeah, CEP will be offered at Stouffer, and then they will you'll ride the bus to Chansey.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all the questions.
What if are kids allowed to have snack in the classroom?
From home, it has to be individually wrapped, and right now I don't know that we're doing that. So as of right now,
I'm just saying we don't eat lunch until 1:20, and so we're last lunch. So if they bring it from home, are they allowed to eat it at their desk and then clean it up like breakfast?
I kind of don't see why not, I'll be honest. But we have to make sure that we're cleaning that up. And I'll let you all determine that once we kind of talk on Monday and Tuesday and get some things clarified, and then we'll go from there. Okay?
All right, Genesis, I will let you know the answer later.
Is that Genesis Green?
Yes.
Tell her, mom and dad, I'll see them at Kroger and I'll let them know. No, I mean, it's a good question. If that's what time fourth graders are eating lunch, that may be something we have to make a concession for. But we just have to be careful with the safety guidelines. And I don't want to mislead anyone in thinking that we can begin bringing food that then they'll ultimately want to share. And right now we're not in the business because of COVID of sharing anything. So let's kind of figure some of that out.
Okay, sounds good.
And then I'll let you all communicate that, okay? Any other questions?
I do.
What's up, Eli?
Where is the video going to be?
So we've been putting it on the S'more. If your family members have gotten the S'more, the video is linked on the S'more, but I will send this video, the one we're recording right now.
Yeah.
I'll send that out through Messenger probably tomorrow because it's kind of late and I don't want to send parents emails super late. It takes a while to upload to YouTube. So I'll send that out tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
On Messenger, it'll be in your family member's email. Just like they got the link to this, they'll get it through their email.
Okay.
Okay. Kenya, I'm sorry? Did he say bye? Oh, bye. Kenya, do you have a question?
Yep.
That was from earlier.
Okay.
There's a parent asking for the, or I think they need the bus compound phone number to call because bus finder's not working for them.
Yes, okay. 485-8595. Miss Tina may have put that in the chat by now. I can't see what I'm typing. Hopefully that's spelled correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's.
Yep.
Is that 2 L's?
And then there's the Blankenbaker one as well for Middletown.
Thank you. All righty. Any other questions?
I do.
Nakata, what's up?
So my brother goes to school at Mondays and Tuesday, and I go to school at Thursday and Friday. And my brother
doesn't know how to get in his meetings on Thursday and Friday. My mom was thinking if you could let him go Thursday or Friday with me.
Does your mom know how to email me?
Yes, but she goes to work.
Okay, who's your teacher, honey?
She's with me in Hummel.
Okay, Beatty and Hummel, can we work that out?
Yes.
I'll email you.
Okay. Let them know, let the family know that they can reach out to me and we'll make that happen. Okay.
Okay.
Looks like Tracy's in the chat saying we'll figure that out. Okay.
Okay.
All righty. Anyone else? The district is doing that for family members that have siblings with different last names. So please reach out to me if the district hasn't already contacted you, and we will work that out. If there are any changes to transportation or questions about transportation, please give Miss Tina or Miss Tracy a phone call, and I'll put Chancey's phone number in the chat. It's better than emailing them at this point.
Mm-hmm.
What is our number? 485-8387. She's yelling at me. What? Okay. All righty. Any other questions? If there are no other questions, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Hopefully this was informative. Hopefully you got all of your questions answered. And of course, you can always reach us, give us a call or email us, and we will be happy to help you. So can't wait to see you in person or virtually beginning Wednesday, March 17th. All righty.
Thank you all so much.
These kids all shook his head no.
Yeah,
Beginning Monday, March 22nd. Listen, people, March 22nd. Sorry, 22nd, you're big kids. All right, bye.
Solange, ask a question.
Oh, sorry.
And if you have to go, families, we're pretty much done.
I'm pretty far away from the school, and what happens if you be late?
If you're late on the bus, honey, it's taken care of. It's considered excused because it's not the fault of a family member. Now, I'll tell you, the tricky thing is mom or someone will have to make sure you get on the bus every morning so that you don't miss it, okay?
Okay.
But we got you. Don't worry about being late. As long as you get on the bus. Okay.
Good question.